Good morning, my dear students. I'm Miss Tania Poveda, and this is Entrepreneurship. Do you remember what to do with this information? You're right. You better download the information or the link and save it so you can check it later. Don't forget to do that. In case you cannot download it, you will receive this PowerPoint presentation so you can print it if you need to. Or as always, you can take notes on your notebook or folders. So let's continue. We've been talking about some definitions that we will need when talking about entrepreneurship, right? Okay, today we're going to talk about costs. Costs. Let's continue. Do you have any idea what costs are? Well, it's pretty similar in Spanish, yes, if you translate it. So basically, costs are the resources used to make a product. It is expressed in monetary terms. It means you know how much something costs by the amount of money that you invest or that you use on the resources to build something. In other words, let's look at this picture here. Let me use this light. Okay. For example, you have a table, right? This is a table. To make a table, you need raw material, wood in this case, you need tools, and you need someone to make the table. So these are the three basic resources that you are going to use: wood, tools, and people. You got it? Well, this is only the definition that we're going to study today, because I don't want to continue without explaining what resources are. So in the picture, did you identify the three kinds of resources? I'm going back just 1 second, and I'm going to tell you again. We have wood, we have tools, and we have people. You get it? Remember this picture because we've been talking about these three kinds of resources the rest of the class. So this is the first part of costs, but I'm going to focus first on resources. We have three kinds of resources when talking about cost, when we want to build something, when we want to produce goods or services. So what are resources? Materials, objects, people, and tools used to make the goods and services we buy. That's it. Okay, I want you right now to look around you. Come on, look at your right, look at your left, look in front of you, on your back. All the things that are around you were made somehow. And you need resources, of course. So in this picture, you see this boy, he's studying by a desk, right? Here, as you can see this arrow here, this is a desk, right? So to make that desk, you need resources. Probably the same that we already talked: wood, tools, and a person. What about a shower that we take every day? Probably we don't realize it because we are so used to that we don't consider it that important. But actually, the service that you receive, the water that you have at home, or the hot shower that you're taking are actually made using resources. There is someone behind controlling the amount of water you receive. There is someone creating showers that heat water and things like that. Okay, so those are the resources. Right now, you're probably using your cell phone or a tablet or a computer or a laptop, right? Those are also resources, technological resources. There are people working on that, creating applications, creating YouTube channels. recording videos, or someone repairing your computer, someone updating the information you have in your computer, right? So those are resources too. Like right now, this link is a resource for you to study. Okay, continuing talking about the 3 kinds of resources, we are going to start with resource number 1, and those are natural resources. So in the first picture, the picture of the table, I told you about wood, right? So that's natural resources. Things found in nature and are not handmade that we use to make things. Raw materials. You probably learned that in Spanish. So, for example, we already talked about water, right? So if you use water to wash your hands, to wash your clothes, or maybe you put water in your car, or you use water to move a ship, right? The water that you use is also a natural resource. It means you don't transform the material, you use it right from nature. In that case, is a natural resource. So here we have pictures of different ways we can use water, right? We can use it to water plants at home or at work, it depends. We can use it to wash our hair, to wash our hands or take showers, to swim, to have some fun at the pool. Firemen can use it to extinguish fire, to wash dishes, to drink, of course, to sail. So this is different ways we use this natural resource. Do you have any idea or any examples about natural resources? Can you think about something different than water that comes from nature? Okay, here we have other examples of natural resources. We have rocks that some people use to build houses or roads or decoration or building. Land that you use to grow food. Air, trees, wind, sunlight, plants, coal, like the one you use for barbecue, oil, and others. These are only examples of natural resources, things we use from the nature to create goods or services. When talking about natural resources, we can talk about renewable and non-renewable resources. I'm going to start with renewable resources. These are things that replenish or remake themselves. For example, here we have some solar panels. What are they doing? They're taking the sunlight and transforming the sunlight into energy. Here on the right, we have wind, and we have these mountains, transforming wind into energy. So that's a way that you can reuse those resources. You can transform them, and you can remake things from them. And also, we have non-renewable resources. Remember, I'm still talking about natural resources. This is the first one. So we have renewable and non-renewable. Now, talking about non-renewable resources, well, they are able to be used up completely. No more will be found. For example, oil, plastic, they are things that they cannot be reused. They cannot be regenerated. Once you use them, they are gone forever. So when talking about oil, for example, you extract oil from the soil and you use it to create different products, plastic, cosmetics, makeup, parts of computers, etc. But you can grow oil. Once it's gone forever. Okay? And what happens when a resource is vanishing, is disappearing? What is going to happen in the economics everywhere? Prices are going up because you have less resources. So that made prices to go up. They are non-renewable products. Okay, so that's the consequence of consuming too many things. Consuming gasoline, oil, using too much products like plastic products like bottles or pots or things, all kind of plastic things. Examples of non-renewable resources are gold, right? Gold doesn't grow again. You use it and that's it. Iron, coal, salt, chalk, lithium, neodymium, and others. And in case you're asking what chalk, lithium, or neodymium are, well, chalk is used for agriculture. It helps with plagues. Lithium for batteries. And neodymium for magnets. Those you have in your refrigerator, they are made with neodymium, as you can see here. Okay, so these are examples of non-renewable resources. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to talk about conservation. Carefully protecting and using a resource so it does not run out completely. We have to be careful. We have to take care of nature. What happened with wood, with trees? What do you think they are? Renewable or non-renewable? I'll tell you something. Technically, theoretically, wood is a renewable resource. It is, because you can plant more trees and they grow and you can use them again and again and again. But in real life, that doesn't happen like that. That doesn't happen at all. Once they cut trees, they don't plant more trees. So that's the problem. The problem is not that they cut the trees. The problem is that they cut it, but they don't replace them. They don't plant new trees. So when that happens, we have pictures like this, we have views like this. Sometimes we don't see them because they are not like right away on the road. You cannot see them from the window of your car. They are very deep in the jungle, in the Amazon. So what happened? Deforestation. Deforestation. It means no more forest. Goodbye forest, goodbye plants, goodbye animals. So what deforestation is, removing all trees in a forest without replanting any. What products can you get from wood? Well, you have paper, as we can see here in these pictures. We have fans, furnitures, all kind of products, right? So, do you remember I asked you what kind of natural resources is wood? Okay, I told you it's renewable because you can plant more. Since they are not planting more trees and they are just disappearing and the forest is disappearing, now we can consider it as a non-renewable resource. So that's very sad. Very, very sad. Okay, so again, theoretically, yes, they are renewable because you can plant more trees, but in real life, that is not happening. So it's very bad news for you, for me, for nature, for animals, for the whole world. They are right now non-renewable. It means nobody is planting more trees. So what you can do, you can use less materials from wood, keep the same table for longer, Don't use too much paper. Don't waste the paper. Don't waste your notebooks and things like that. Okay, I'm not going to stop there because we have continued talking about talking about resources. So let's see. What happens when resources are disappearing? Just like the picture of the gas station. Do you remember? Okay, so when resources start disappearing, the prices start going up because it makes more difficult to get materials, and something like a pencil that might cost $2, maybe less, they are not going to cost $2 anymore. They are going to cost maybe $3.50 or more dollars. So pay attention on your things. Don't lose your pencils or anything. Well, the second resource we're going to talk about is human resources. That's pretty easy because it includes the word human. These are people who do the work to make goods or produce services. It's also called labor. Labor is the people who work in a company or in an institution. It's the work humans do. That's the labor. We can also call it labor resources. That's all right. Okay, so this is an example about labor. What do we have here? Ice cream, right? Do you identify the flavor? Yes? Okay, yeah, probably it's vanilla. So we have here a vanilla ice, like the singer. Okay, we have this vanilla ice, and think about all the resources behind that vanilla ice. Let's talk about the people working for you to have this on your table. So we have people working on farms to get the milk. We have people growing the vanilla. People working on the machinery to make the ice cream. Once the ice cream is done, is ready, there are people transporting the ice cream from one place to other. Once it's in the supermarket, you have people putting things in their places and pricing them. So writing down a price. And finally, when you go and pay for it, there is a person, the cashier, in charge of the money. You see? So this little ice cream that we have here includes a bunch of people working on that. That is human resources used in the production of this ice, vanilla ice. Okay, and the last one, which is something that we know already, is capital resources. Capital is not only cash. Remember that. It's not only cash. Capital is all the machines, tools, vehicles, and information that you use to produce something. It's everything that you can, behind the people, everything behind the nature to produce something. Remember these keywords: machines, tools, vehicles, and information. So, do you remember the ice cream we were talking about? Well, I do, because I love ice cream. That's why I chose the example, okay? So when talking about the ice cream, when talking about the vanilla ice cream, we were talking about the people behind them. Now let's talk about the capital. Remember the keywords? I'm going back: machines, tools, and vehicles, and information. Okay, so machines, we can identify tractors, truck, industrial machines, refrigerators, etc. Even those little things that you may not consider important, they are important. For example, pen, paper, cell phones, computers, everything that is not from nature and that is not people are capital. Things that you use to produce them, to move them. Okay? I hope the explanation is clear, because finally, to summarize the class of today, the three kinds of resources are natural resources, human resources, and capital resources. That's it. Now let's do this little exercise. Very easy, very fast. I'm going to show you a picture and you have to identify if it is natural, human, or capital. Are you ready? Okay, let's see. So we have this school bus, this big school bus. Is this a natural resource? Is it human resource? Or is it capital resource? What do you think? You're right. It's capital resource because it's machinery or transportation. I'll show you other picture. What about this pencil? This little cheap pencil. Is it natural resource, human resource, or capital resource? Not sure? Sure? Well, it is capital. No matter that it's small or cheap, it's still capital because you use it to produce something. It's not a person. It's not directly from nature. Yes, I know you can tell me, oh, but it's wood. Yes, but it's wood transformed into a pencil. So it's not directly from nature. It's not raw material anymore. It's a finished good. Okay, and the last example, probably you don't identify very well. This is copper. Copper, it's similar than gold. It's a mineral. This is copper. You probably recognize the color. So this mineral is natural resource, human resource, or capital resource. Yeah, that was easy, right? It is natural resource. Okay, with this, I finish the first part of cost because it's very important we understand the resources that we use to produce something so we can analyze cost in the future. With this, we finish. Thank you very much for your attention. You did a wonderful job finding out the answers of those exercises. Take care, everybody. Stay home. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye-bye.